स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Hello students, welcome to StudyIQ's initiative, the podcast. In the last episode of the podcast, we had discussed parliamentary privileges, and in today's episode, we are going to critically analyze Rajya Sabha. Sir, can you throw some light on special powers of Rajya Sabha?
Before we start, I want to tell you something, that this is not an advertisement. However, it is a global vision of StudyIQ to provide most affordable and effective education. In our Prelims to Interview program, that is P2I program, you will be accompanied by the best faculties of the field, and you will also receive the one-to-one mentorship in this program. Moreover, you will receive prelims as well as mains test series according to UPSC syllabus. So, for huge discount, you can use my code AVLIVE. All the links are pinned in the comment section.
Rajya Sabha can authorize the Parliament to make a law on a state list under Article 249. Rajya Sabha can also authorize the Parliament to create new All India services, which will be common for both centre and state under Article 312. And only Rajya Sabha can initiate a move for the removal of Vice President under Article 67. In our constitutional system, position of the Rajya Sabha is not as weak as that of House of Lords in the British constitutional system, nor as strong as that of the Senate in the American constitutional system. So we can say that Indian system of Rajya Sabha lies in between of the UK and US's system in Parliament. If a proclamation is issued by President for imposing national emergency or President's rule or financial emergency at a time when the Lok Sabha has been dissolved, then the Rajya Sabha will approve the proclamation of national emergency. Exceptions are financial matters and control over the Council of Ministers. The powers and the status of the Rajya Sabha in all other spheres are broadly equal and coordinated with that of Lok Sabha.
Sir, how can we understand the utility of Rajya Sabha?
Rajya Sabha basically enables participation of senior-most politicians and statesmen in politics. It also prevents the hasty and ill-conceived defectives, careless legislations as the House of Correction. Rajya Sabha also ensures that the constitution does not become a playing card in the hands of ruling party. It gives representation to the states and protects their interest, and it maintains the federal equilibrium. Rajya Sabha also facilitates the intellectuals and persons from all walks of the life. Rajya Sabha in India is not as powerful as the US Senate, nor as weak as the House of Lords of Britain. Last but not the least is that Rajya Sabha checks arbitrariness of Lok Sabha where it has equal powers.
Sir, now we want you to enlighten us on position of Rajya Sabha vis-a-vis Lok Sabha. How has Rajya Sabha equal status with Lok Sabha?
So Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are equal in following aspects. I will try to cover with some points. Number 1. Rajya Sabha is equal with Lok Sabha in introduction and passage of ordinary bills. Number 2. Introduction and passage of constitutional amendment bills. Number 3. Introduction and passage of financial bills involving expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India, that means Finance Bill Type 2. Next, election and impeachment of the President, election and removal of the Vice President. However, Rajya Sabha alone can initiate the removal of the Vice President. And next, making recommendations to the President. And Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha have equal status while they are making recommendations to the President for removal of Chief Justice, Judges of Supreme Court, High Court, Chief Election Commissioner or CAG. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are also equal when in the case of approval of ordinances which were issued by President. In case of approval of proclamation of all three types of emergencies by the President, both the houses have equal status. And selection of ministers including the Prime Minister, both the houses have equal status in this regard also. And in the consideration of the reports of the constitutional bodies like Finance Commission, UPSC, CAG, etc., both the houses have equal responsibility and powers.
Sir, now can you elaborate how Rajya Sabha has unequal status with Lok Sabha?
A money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha cannot amend or reject a money bill. It should return the bill within the 14 days to the Lok Sabha. A financial bill not containing solely the matters of 110 also can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. With regard to its passage, both houses have equal powers. The final power to decide whether a particular bill is a money bill or not is vested in the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Speaker of Lok Sabha presides over the joint sitting of both the houses. Voting on the demands for grants is exclusive privilege of Lok Sabha and which is not with the Rajya Sabha. A resolution for the discontinuance of the national emergency can only be passed by Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha cannot remove the Council of Ministers by passing a no confidence motion. This is a very exclusive power with Lok Sabha, as Council of Ministers is collectively responsible only to the Lok Sabha. However, the Rajya Sabha can only discuss and criticize the activities of government.
Sir, now can you throw some light on the opinion of critics about Rajya Sabha?
Rajya Sabha is a federal chamber with non-federal features, having representation to the union territories, presence of nominated members, removal of domicile requirements since 2003, unequal representation to the state. Role of Rajya Sabha as a revision chamber, because since last 75 years post-independence, only 3 instances we can see that the joint sitting had been called because of the deadlock and the strong role which were played by the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has failed to check encroachment to the center on state domain. Rajya Sabha is the pale shadow of Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha has failed to establish a separate identity for itself, so failed to emerge as a house of elders, becoming heaven or rehabilitation platform for capitalist, retired bureaucrats and former judges, which is a very common scene in Rajya Sabha. Abuse and misuse of provisions of nomination can also demean the status of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha's role as guardian to the constitution has been poor and eroding further. To understand the global perspective on Rajya Sabha, the concept of upper house has a rich history and is considered as one of the oldest institutions in any federal structure. Rajya Sabha ensures the federal equilibrium in any democratic polity.
Sir, as you had mentioned that states have unequal representation in Rajya Sabha, but some states demand for equal representation as well. So can you throw some light on those arguments which are against the favor of having equal representation in Rajya Sabha?
Critics argue that the equal representation of every state should not be given in Rajya Sabha. It is because our constitution is not the result of an agreement between formally independent colonies, and it may increase the demand for the smaller states again. A population and a territorial size varies significantly across states. That's why we cannot accommodate every state equally into the Rajya Sabha. A few small states may hold back an important amendment and legislation so that they will hinder the critical and important process of lawmaking. And in the past also, I would like to highlight one fact that Nehru Committee report in 1928 also opposed the induction of equal state and equal seats in Rajya Sabha for each and every state.
Sir, thank you for your explanations. Dear listeners, it is time to call it quits for this episode of the podcast. In the next episode, we will begin our discussion from another topic. So stay connected with StudyIQ and keep studying. You can listen to StudyIQ Presents the podcast on all the audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, etc. All the links are pinned in the comment section below. Thank you.